Our first speaker of the second day of the iRODS user group meeting is Paul Borgermans of KU Leuven, and his talk is entitled ManGO Portal, iRODS PRC-based web UI, feature updates including extensions, extension points, and workflows.
Thank you, Corey, and good morning, everyone. So yes, I'm Paul from the KU Leuven. We joined the iRODS ecosystem a few years ago. I joined also this research data management group inside the KU Leuven a few years ago. And yeah, I will talk now about the ManGO portal, which is indeed a user interface, a web-based user interface into iRODS. And I will talk about the current features, the new features basically since last year, but also emphasize some of the possibilities to extend it. And I will finalize also with talking about another part that I think will be very important for us in the next months and years, which is actually an extended workflow system. Myself, I have a background in science. My first professional experience was research in a nuclear research center, where I also did a PhD. I did research in photonics, both laboratory, both modeling. So actually, with the audience that we are serving now with research data management, I'm quite familiar. But okay, I did research, but I didn't completely do that. I got lost a bit on IT, did lots of web applications, and now I ended up writing the software, the ManGO portal. So the ManGO portal, what is it? It's basically an iRODS PRC client. It's written in Flask. It's a web application framework. And at its core, it's actually a CRUD application for everything that's inside iRODS, from data, metadata, but actually also users and collections, of course. Besides that, we also implemented some bulk operations that could come in handy for many. But yeah, I presented it already last year. I'm not going to go into many details. There are other extension points today. What it also features is a module for user and group management, and that's relatively new because basically we have an integrated fashion of doing user and group management, where we have also a central infrastructure. But for the purpose of the ManGO portal from a generic point of view, so really a core interface to iRODS, I added actually also this user and group management functionality. Yeah, which is very basic, but it works. Group management, groups deleting, adding users, and then managing your groups in a hopefully intuitive fashion. Once you have groups defined, you know, iRODS has its ACL system. It is not really very fine-grained, but still everything that iRODS offers is also exposed in the ManGO portal, so you can do indeed permission management. There are a few changes since done in the past months to optimize here and there some things, but basically it's exactly what you would expect and can do in the command line as well, if you have the proper rights. An important extra feature actually for us, and that was mainly introduced and written by Mariana. Right? Okay, it's metadata schema manager. Basically, the triplets in iRODS, the A views, we actually enriched that with more typing. We also made it possible that you can have nested, repeatable composite fields. So basically, if the composite field is like a mini schema. Also added was JSON import and export, so you can export and import part or whole of a schema. And in addition to that, and that's also quite new in the past weeks, is that there is a pre-made component library. So basically what we try to do there is to offer to our users some standardized metadata schema blocks that are based on agreed kind of standards, but there are many metadata standards, I must say. But anyway, we offer here some way of standardization and also ease of use in creating metadata schemas. Okay, but enough about the basic features. I would like to emphasize today more that you can extend this generic version of the ManGO portal by using various or plugging it into various extension points and other customization options that you have. So, but here I really start with a basic version, which by the way, we also published in the meantime on GitHub. You can grab it and try it out. But the gist of it for extending and customizing the ManGO portal is that there are several levels at which you can interact and do your customizations. It starts very simple. There are quite some configuration directives that you can work upon and change. Slightly more complex is a system of template overrides. I also introduced it last year, but I think it's a little bit unique in the sense that I also actually imported it from my previous life as a general web development guy. But in any case, with template overrides, you can change the presentation and just not here and there a few colors. You can actually introduce new business logic as well. It's all based and it works in the area of Flask with the Jinja 2 template system. Another part where you can change the ManGO portal is by doing some overrides on core classes. There are a few of them that are available already out of the box. I will give you an example a little bit later. So basically, there is also override by saying, okay, in this, for this instance of the ManGO portal, I want to have this module active, and the default is not what I want. But you can also code your own. Basically, while coding the ManGO portal software, where we started it is for us, so we just do what we want. But then we realized actually also we want to make this more modular. Also, other people got interested into it. And we also needed a way eventually to have also different versions of the ManGO portal customized and tailored to different user group within our audience. Okay. But another thing is that you can actually plug in your whole own logic, your own codes and Flask routes just by employing the standard way of doing it in the Flask way, which is by creating blueprints. Blueprints can actually contain anything of the above. It can be just template overrides, no problem. It can be a few class overrides, but it can also be a complete mini application to do whatever you want with dedicated routes, your own logic, your own templates and everything. And finally, the newest component to be added in this ManGO platform is ManGO Flow, a workflow system, which can be as simple as taking what will be there out of the box. It's still a work in progress. Or you can create also your own very complex things, and I will showcase it a little bit later. But I would like to make it a little bit more tangible also, and give you a few examples on how to customize the ManGO portal, really basic level, at least for now. For example, if you want to change the default landing page, which just shows a picture, and you say, okay, yes, we're now at a user group meeting, so I would like to have another picture. How to do that? You could edit the template in place, but that's not a good way to do it. The better way is to use the template overrides system. And so basically this landing page is the result of a certain route, a default route, which doesn't specify actually anything. Yeah. And so at the top, you see what you currently have out of the box, the index.html.g2, that's the Jinja template. And you can create your own, which is almost the same, but just in a new picture and another text. And then the most important part is actually this configuration here behind me. That is where you say, okay, there is a template that will be calls. You can specify conditions to which the system should react and take the templates that you want for that case. Now here the condition is very simple. It's just an always match. Um, so it will then just take your new created template for the landing page. Okay, simple, I think. So here's the results. Another way to change the landing page is by configuration, because the landing page is a bit of a special thing for us. That's what we thought as a developer. So suppose you're not satisfied with just a splash page and you would directly want to go into what you would get when you click on the top left menu, which is browsing your collections. Suppose you want to go straight away to that. That's possible. And the way to do it is actually to change the route for it. How to do it? It's basically, again, configuration changes. This landing page route has is being controlled by a dedicated configuration variable, a small dictionary in this case, that just says this module and this function is the one that you should use to render it. And the result is then this. You immediately go to your collections and can browse through it. By default, in our installations, it's the home directory of your iRODS installation. Okay, then a slightly more, although not that much more advanced example is to change the behavior. We have our schema manager, but of course you do not want typically everyone to be able to create, edit, and change or delete schemas. You want to have it a bit more under control. By default, in the installation, anybody can create schemas in its own home directory, in the public directory, and yes, and everywhere else actually. It's very, very broad. That's not so good. So for our own implementation, we have another more sophisticated schema manager. It's derived from a base, well, it's actually the base schema manager that it's extending. And it also offers internally quite a big level of granularity, which we currently not fully use. But in any case, you can also activate this in a generic version of the ManGO portal. And the net result will be that when you are visiting a certain collection where you before could do almost everything, when you change this behavior with this plugin, then the net result will be that you can do less. In this case, you can only view schemas from projects. In this case, this is a bit of a implicit concept, actually. But yeah, by doing this, and you can create, of course, your own implementation of a schema manager permission system, as long as you adhere to a very simple interface definition. Okay, when we want to take it to the next level and bring a bit everything together, I'm going to show you very roughly what we did for our own case, where we actually introduced this idea of, okay, with iRODS, we want to host researchers in their projects, and that's the focus. Projects hosted in several projects hosted in one zone. We have multiple zones. But the concept is actually that's actually at your third level inside an iRODS zone, that there should be the homes of your projects. Now, if you go out of the box with the ManGO portal in the generic version, you will always land on this either landing page or you're browsing at the home level. Now, we wanted to change that and have a kind of a little concept that you say, I can log in into my project, and then the left menu will change with its defaults, and you will directly navigate either your collections or your schemas or your user groups inside your project. Oh, yeah. So here, this little animation shows you the before situation, where when you go to the landing page, yeah, you have to always select the project or your home directory where you want to navigate. So by changing some more, basically you start by configuring your plugin. It's a full Flask blueprint. And where you also change your main landing routes together with something else, which is okay, an override template for your sidebar, your plugin. You end up with this results where you basically can log in into your project, and then you can navigate within your project without with lot less clicks. Okay, then actually, lastly, wanted to introduce you to ManGO Flow, which is basically arisen from the need that we need to do asynchronous actions. Pretty logically, you can do, of course, lots of things inside iRODS with delay rules and so on. But we felt the need because of the very nature of the customers that we are serving, research projects and researchers, that we need to give them tools to integrate the functionality that we offer with iRODS and the rest of the ManGO platform almost to their laboratory setups. And from there, the idea of ManGO Flow came around. Technically, ManGO Flow is based on Python Celery, which is a framework for creating asynchronous stuff. Within this system, we also define typically different kind of workers. Workers are a concept in this workflow system with Celery. Typically, what we will do is, of course, provide all the iRODS specific operations and the operations that we deem as very close to what we want to do with iRODS, for example, metadata extraction. But it also can be very domain specific stuff. Think of laboratory integration. Basically, anything should be able to happen there. And we also think of scalability. For example, metadata extraction on simple files, simple images, this goes very fast. But we also are confronted with very large files in which we also want to extract metadata, and that can take several minutes to much longer even. And then building on that, we also have then the idea we should also be able to support complex and heavy calculations. So we would like also to be able to scale out to HPC infrastructure instead of only the containers where we run the ManGO portal. Okay, such a workflow system always involves yet another component. In our case, this component is a broker, which actually is centralizing all the actions that are happening, at least in data. We use internally Apache Kafka primarily because we found out that it works actually pretty well with what we want to do with iRODS, and it is capable of scaling out to lots of traffic, and we do have lots of traffic in our iRODS installations. Okay, but again, for this workflow, we do not consider only everything that needs to be happening inside iRODS, but the drivers can be anywhere. Drivers can actually also just be the ManGO portal actions where users can click on a button and some asynchronous task will be executed. It can also be cron jobs. Cron jobs can then be implemented because they're also easily implemented because they're natively supported inside this Celery framework. Or it can be basically be any clients, for example, Apache Airflow, which is also a data management workflow infrastructure and framework. It is very easy. It's also written in Python. But it's very easy to integrate it with Celery and just post some requests and messages inside our own implementation. So that means that we can also integrate with existing workflow systems that are there, or any custom app basically, as long as you can use some Python wrapper to launch some communication with this workflow system and send out some requests and messages. But for this presentation, I would like to emphasize what we did for iRODS, where we use exactly Apache Kafka, and where we use it as a filtered event listener for anything that happens inside iRODS, inside our zones. And therefore, we actually also employ a dispatcher, what I can call it, which is largely based on configuration. But the overall picture is basically this. So we have iRODS. iRODS is very busy. It creates a thick stream of changes, messages that are catched by Kafka and the iRODS plugin for this. It's this thick red line on the top. And what we want to have is actually a filtered set of changes which corresponds to the entry points where we want to workflows or to be run. These are typically done per project. Some projects can have no workflows at all. Other projects a few, some a bit more. And this dispatcher is the one that actually takes care and is integrated with Kafka to get only those signals, and then it uses that to further process and see what it really needs to do. So this dispatcher then will communicate with the brokers. The brokers can be anything actually, RabbitMQ, Redis, whatever you want. And the broker and this dispatcher will send messages in these queues in order to make the workers work. And these workers work, that means typically iRODS operations. Now, this is relatively static. If I show it like that, that's not the goal. The goal is that we want to have it in a dynamic system that you can easily change and add and delete workflows in a running instance of the ManGO portal and your iris installation. And therefore, we also employ parts or new parts in the ManGO portal, which also will have its own little worker system and signal passing also to, for example, this Kafka. Kafka is called a topic, where it will post, for example, new workflows by introducing a new part of the configuration that Kafka needs to take into account to create this filtered topic lists that feeds the dispatcher. Also in this schema or diagram are this little, this globe, basically meaning that any application can request things from the ManGO Flow layers and do some things with iRODS or anything else actually that is around our research data management platform. So yeah, it's basically a very general system. You could ask yourself, why not do it, for example, all with PEPs and so on? Well, that's not enough because we need to expand outside of this. This is my last slide, by the way. So how does it look, this dispatcher, to give you slightly an idea? So it basically starts, and you can see it on the top, with a subtree rule, a match. And this is actually the minimum that is being fed into this Kafka filtered topic, where it just keeps only those messages that are related to that specific subtree in your iris installation. Could also be some metadata that will be added, but we'll see how that works out. But in any case, if that condition is matched, then we have a topic that is, or a message that is eligible for a dispatcher. And this dispatcher will look further what actions are to be done. It will call a predefined entry point and then important parameters. And here in this case, would like to draw your attention that these parameters actually contain some expressions. These can be regular expressions. We have also written a small macro language on top of it. But basically, the gist is that you can extract parameters from these paths of data objects or collections and use them in your tasks to be executed. For example, for ingestion and movement of data, you can actually pull metadata out of typically the paths element. That's what we see in our case at university, and then reuse that to construct a new path. Similarly, you can do also this kind of tricks with variables and metadata extraction from a path, and then store this metadata inside iRODS itself, besides what I presented before using Apache Tika. Okay, that's it. This is just a showdown of what we are currently doing with ManGO and ManGO Portal and ManGO Flow. So thank you for your attention.
All right. We have maybe one question. Is there a question?
It's early.
All right. All right, we got one. We can take one question. Is it on?
Hello. Yes.
Hi. For the ManGO portal, so you use it to upload and download files as well. Do you have good experience with up and downloading larger files in the terabytes?
Terabytes not, but we didn't try, but multi-gigabytes certainly. What we do there is actually streaming. We're streaming the files. So basically the ManGO portal is requesting the content in bits and pieces and streams them out to your browser, your clients. So
for downloading,
there is a little bit of overhead though, but it allows you to download large files without that your intermediate system needs to be very big in terms of memory of disk.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.